So what would be the best way to get the most out of next week's 3-day live leadership coaching challenge? Well, I would recommend that you come to all three. The first one is a bit more practical. It's about navigating kind of boardrooms or board meetings or senior leadership meetings or situations where you find yourself with other leaders, you're in unfamiliar territory, you're not quite sure how to show up, what's expected of you, all that kind of stuff. So quite a practical thing. Second one is on procrastination. This can be just when we're stuck, we're not moving forward. You know, we know we've got to do something or we've got to make a decision and we're not making it or doing it. So that's kind of probably an inner thing. We need a bit of inner exploration. And then the third one is on, am I enough? Now this question, am I enough? And feeling we're good enough, feeling we're worthy, feeling that we have all the tools in our toolkit to do everything we want to do and achieve everything we want to achieve. Well, we do. We do. We all have everything we need inside of us to achieve whatever we want to achieve. But we also have some inner blocks and barriers and inner critics and naysayers and doom-mongers, you know, those little voices inside us that we wake up in the morning and we go, I'm going to do this. And then our mind tells us 100 reasons why we shouldn't do it, or why it's a bad idea or whatever. And then we get ourselves into a bit of a tiz and, you know, but sometimes we don't know which way to go, or we don't do anything, or we go, oh no, I'm not good enough for that job, or I'm not good enough to put myself forward for that, or whatever it is. So am I enough is a big topic, and I think it probably sits behind imposter syndrome, actually, that a lot of us can struggle with at work. So how do you get the best out of next week? If you can, come to all three. And the reason I say that is because we do use a blend of mindfulness and the Grow coaching model. And those two things together are really quite powerful because we're taking really practical steps and we're going through a structure and a framework. That gives us safety to know where we're going. We're going to look at where we want to get to, where we're at right now, what could be holding us back, and then the action, the steps we're going to take to get us moving forward, right? So that's what we're going to aim for. The mindfulness part of it brings us out of fight and flight, allows us to go inwards, allows us to kind of be with the breath, be with the situation we're in, and, you know, some of those doubts and, you know, negative patterns and limiting beliefs. It's not that they disappear, it's just we get to see them for kind of what they are. And then we can come into more of a state of connection, of ease and flow, which is better for creativity, for coming up with ideas, for tuning into our real inner wisdom. And then from there we can, you know, take steps to move forward in there. Either, you know, it might be small steps, action, they've just got to be achievable actions that we can go and get moving forward. And they might then turn into bigger steps. We might have a long-term step and a short-term step and aiming to get there. And for people who've never done mindfulness before or meditation or anything like that, it can be a bit of a new process, especially when there's so much going on in our heads, especially when we've got a to-do list as long as your arm, things we need to get done. And the last thing we want to be doing is taking an hour out of our day to do some group coaching. And if you do that for 3 days in a row, by the end of it, you'll, you know, if you haven't nailed the process, you'll be well on the way. And the first one can be a bit, for some people, it can be a bit like, oh, it's quite hard for me to switch from, you know, writing something down to coming back into the mindfulness. But once you get into the flow of it, it becomes a lot easier. Like anything else, the more you do it, the better you get. So if you can give up those 3 hours next week for the 3 sessions, I would highly recommend it. If you can only come to one, just come to one. I'll run another one in, 5 or 6 weeks' time, and you can come back to that having done it already. But yeah, come with paper and pen, because it might help to just scribble some things down as we go. There will certainly be opportunities to do that. And if you can, if there is something alive for you at the moment, or something that you've done in the past that didn't go so well that you want to learn from, then it can help to come with a really specific situation, either around, navigating boardrooms, board meetings, whatever, or procrastination, or am I enough, or all three, if you're going to come to all three. Have an idea in mind of what you want to dive into. There will be time to do that at the beginning of the session. There'll be plenty of time to really hone in. And if you've got 3 scenarios or more, don't worry about it. We'll give some time to allow which one wants to come to the service. And if you pick one and then you change your mind 5 minutes, 10 minutes in, that's totally fine. There's no real rules as long as you follow. It's just a process. It's your process too. So really look forward to seeing you there. If you've got any questions, or you're not sure, or anything, just drop me a line. And can't wait to see you there and see what shifts you get.